Hi everyone and welcome to video number 1 in the Lego Minifig series. So in this video we're going to have a look at modelling the head, which is going to be our first part for our Lego Minifig. So what you can see on screen here, I've already modelled up the basic head shape. And we're going to use a drawing, an orthogonal drawing, which provides us with some dimensions in order to get this right. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to delete this because you can see it there. And I'll just reset my Rhino viewports. There we go. And I'll bring across the drawing. Just give me one second. And here it comes. There we go. All right, so this is a basic kind of cylindrical part, and what we will do later on is we'll round over these edges using the fillet tool, which will kind of give it that accurate looking shape that we all know from the Lego Minifig. Now, a couple of things about reading drawings. This is an orthogonal drawing, and it provides you with 3 different views. Typically, this is the front view, followed by the right side view, and then straight above it we have the top view or the plan view. Along with that are the relevant dimensions for constructing this object. A couple of things to note. This dashed line that you see running through the center of the object is known as a center line, and that's depicted by a long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash style line. In the top view you can see a cross mark there, which typically is similar in fashion to the long dash, short dash, but it's actually a center mark. So it's basically indicating the center of where you would scribe a circle for this object. So whenever you see a center line, you should straight away think that the object being represented is cylindrical, because basically that's what the center line does. Now we can also think of this object as being symmetrical, because this could act as our line of symmetry almost. And because of that, we only really need to model half of this. So if we think about modeling this profile, which you can kind of see me kind of mousing over now, and then revolving it around this center line or this axis here, that's going to allow us to create this solid object using the revolve tool, which perhaps you're already familiar with. I mean, if we were going to do that, then we can just halve some of these values, because we can see that there's a diameter of 6, or this line across the bottom is 6 millimeters. So if we're only going to build this half, then we're going to go 3 millimeters this way. And in terms of how long this piece here, well, we can see that's 2 millimeters. Then it comes out 2 millimeters. It goes up 8.5. It comes in 2.5. Up 2.5 and in 2.5. So you're going to need to reference this drawing, but you're only going to need these dimensions on this side of the line, and remember this is going to be divided by 2. Alright, so with that, I'm just going to move that to one side, and I suggest you look at that on your laptop, or perhaps divide your screen into 2 like I have at home here. Alright, so I'm going to do this in my front view, and of course I have grid snap, planar and O snap turned on. I've also got end turned on also. I'm going to grab the pan tool and I'm going to move my page down so that the red line is more down towards the bottom, and we're going to use the green line there as the center line. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my polyline tool, which is this one here, and I'm going to start down at the bottom. And I'm going to come out 3 millimeters, so I'll type 3 in the command line there, and I'm going to designate that as being a horizontal line, and the next thing that I need to do is go up 2 millimeters, so I'll type in 2, hit enter, and now I've designated that line length as being 2. I now need to come out another 2 millimeters, so I type in 2 once again, and then if I look at my drawing, I know that I need to come up 8.5 millimeters. So we'll do that, hit enter. Now I need to come in 2.5 millimeters. And a good little tip here is to hold the shift key down so it just keeps that line horizontal. We've talked about it in class before. And I'm going to go up 2.5 millimeters once again. That takes me to there. And then 2.5 millimeters back to that green line, and then I just hit enter. Now at this stage, you might want to pause the video in order to continue, in order to do that, or if you'd like to continue, we can continue now. All right, so let's have a little look at what we can do next. Excuse me. So the next thing for us to do is to revolve this, and we've all been revolving before, so we know how that works. And it's going to look a little something like this. So we'll type revolve in the command line, hit enter. We're going to select the curves we wish to revolve, so that's going to be this, and we'll hit enter once again. And then it asks us to basically depict where the start of the revolve axis is going to be. So I'm going to start at the top there, and I'm going to come down to the bottom, and then it's going to ask you about the start angle, which we know is 0, and we'll hit enter, and then we're looking for a revolution angle of 360. Excuse me, my voice is croaky. All right, that has given us our blocky, but otherwise dimensionally correct Lego minifig head. So what do we need to do next? Well, the reality is we need to round off some of these edges. We need to fillet some of these edges. In fact, the edges that we're going to fillet are going to be this upper edge here, this lower edge here, and they're going to both have a radius of 2 millimeters. This top radius here is going to be something smaller, and that's only going to have a radius of 0.5 on there. So let's go about actually applying those. In the command line, we're going to type fillet edge. Jog down to fillet edge, enter, and I'm going to enter the number 2 for my radius. I can now select the edges to fillet. It will tell you in the command line. So I'm going to select that bottom edge, hold shift, and select the top edge also. Once I've done that, I can hit enter, and I can see there it's showing me what I'm about to get. I press enter to accept that, and there it is. Now this line here, of course, is the original curve, which I don't need, so I might as well delete that right now. Okay, now at this point, we are going to also fillet this edge here. So let's have a go at doing that. Once again, we'll type in fillet edge into the command line, come down, select the edge. Oh, sorry, we need to define the radius, don't we? So let's type in 0.5 as our radius. Now I can select that upper edge, press enter, enter once again to visualize, and there it is. And that's the basics of creating the head. In the next video, which we'll probably do as an extension, we'll look at putting a face on there. But right now, we're going to save this. So I'm just going to hit save. And I'm going to give that a name. Lego. I'm actually going to call this a base head because I might like to modify this as I move forward. All right, once you've done that, I will see you in video 2.